Oh man, it got cold again. Oh, there's going to be a lot of cha-chinging for like the next half hour or so. A lot of my eBay auctions are ending as we are getting ready for the big game minus the Black National Anthem and whatever the fuck that other thing, Bad Bunny, it, what, who pronoun bullshit supposed to be. Tax time, man, this sucks. It's officially tax season, which means the special tax paperwork must go up here. I gotta file all the North Carolina bullshit for eBay. Sucks. Hope all you folks are doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday. It is cold around my neck of the woods there, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Cool. I do this every time. I was watching Bayern Munich on a computer, and then I went out to go get me some more Red Bulls and some snacks for later. Yeah, if you hear a lot of cha-chings, that means a lot of my auctions on eBay are going to end. It was those auctions I was talking about. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing a lot better ever since I figured out what the hell was screwing me up all these days with that vitamin B6 toxicity I was dealing with, and I've been flushing my system out. I'm sleeping better now. The neuropathy, it's still kind of there. That's going to take some time for it to heal itself, unfortunately. But, you know, I'm still sticking to the sugar-free diet, all that good stuff. I'm sure many of you are out and about today for the obvious reason. Hopefully you're not going to allow yourself to be polluted by the it, what, who pronoun Marxist fake national anthem. Because you know they're going to play it before the game. Thank you to my eBay customers. If you keep hearing that cha-ching, that means a lot of my auctions are ending as we speak. And thank you everybody for participating in those auctions. It means a lot to me. Much, much, much appreciated. Much, much appreciated, everybody. Thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, don't forget, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the description box below. And it's also in every video, short and live stream that I do here on YouTube. If you hear the sound, the cha-ching sound, that means my most recent auctions are now winding down. Thank you very much for your participation in helping to support the channel and helping to support a small business like mine. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, everybody. It really means a lot. Really means a lot. I'm not out to make $1 million or anything like that. But much, much appreciated, folks. I hope you're all having a good time and you're all doing your thing. I'm staying home. I'm not going anywhere. I was networking with my neighbors. As a matter of fact, one of my neighbors, I have 2 pairs of shoes from their kid. One is sitting inside my sink. I have to lather it in soap. I'm going to do a semi-restoration. They're actually Bread Toe 1 kid shoes, Nike Air Jordan 1s. I just saw one of the maintenance guys out there. Cheers to the maintenance guys. This is not beer, of course. That's my sugar-free Red Bulls, by the way. Big, big shout out to the maintenance crew and to the staff here where I live, my friends, family, neighbors, all of you, God bless. I hope you're staying home for the big game. As you know, it's probably going to be amateur hour out there, so be safe. What's going on, Jules? Welcome to this rigmarole live stream. I'm actually a Giants fan. I'm a New York Giants fan. I live here in Charlotte, North Carolina. But as a Giants fan, as much as it goes against my DNA, even though I'm wearing a Kansas City Chiefs jersey, I must go with the Patriots on this one. So I am, of course, pissing off the trolls by wearing my Harrison Butker jersey and my Charlie Kirk jersey, because I will not be watching the halftime show. I will be watching the Charlie Kirk TPUSA, Turning Point USA halftime show, but I will not watch Bad Bunny. And I certainly will not be trapped into watching the Black National Anthem or whatever they call it. So you already know where I stand. Most of my viewership, I think we're pretty much on the same page. You know you're going to get the trolls. It's going to happen. It's the internet, folks. But you know where I stand. So I will not be watching. I will not be watching that boo shit. So what's going on, Marion? How you doing, everybody? Everybody, God bless you all. I hope you're all having a good time. Thank you to my eBay customers for supporting my latest auctions for my sports cards. You guys are epic. The phone was going crazy as I started this live stream. I still have just, there you go. There's an example of it. I still have a handful of sports cards I yet to list over at my eBay store. And I think a few of these I started to relist as auctions. I have to go back and do that again. And I'm making a decision whether or not to list one of my big boy cards for auction. There's just a lot of things I want to do, and it's going to take money to do it. And I'm just gonna see what's gonna happen. I think the next card I may put up for sale over at my eBay store may be that Barry Bonds auto that I pulled, because the card that I have has not changed in value, so to speak. But there are things that I kind of need to do, and let me see. Scared of a little diversity, how dare American performer. Listen, fuck that cross-dressing, Spanish-speaking asshole, all right? My ancestors came here from Germany and gave up the German language and most of their culture. If we can adapt to America, so can they. So can they. That's not racist. You're allowed to hold on to your culture. You're allowed to hold on to your background. Here, I hold on to Norse mythology. I'm not a practicing pagan, but I still hold on to my heritage. I'm allowed to do that. But what you're not allowed to do is to try to turn an existing culture into something that it is not. That's why I bought this big boy right here, okay? It's got the Aish Helmir, and it's got the image of either a Germanic warrior or a Viking warrior on there, even though this is more for decoration. No warrior in his right mind would use this particular axe, but it's a celebration of my heritage. And don't let the Indians tell you that they were not savages, because they were. My ancestors were savages. The American Indian were savages, all right? The American Indian were just as bad as the Romans, the Celts, the Germanics, the Vikings, the Anglo-Saxons. They were all fighting over land, territory, and resources. The American Indians were just as bloody as my ancestors were. So, and guess what you get? You get the da-da-da-da nuke, baby. Bye. Look at that, like magic. Poof. Like magic. Oh, that's because I am the Spielführer and I am the Kapitän of my channel. Isn't it beautiful when you're in charge of yourself and you could just say, you know what? I don't have to waste my time arguing with brainlets. Simple fact of the matter is that if my ancestors can adapt, so can they. And in honor of my friend Robert Hummel, aka Wolf, who is an American Indian friend of mine, who passed away last year around the same time my dad did, that's the crucifix from right off his neck, who was a Native American who passed away, who I was very honored to call a friend and a brother. So I'm going to wear that around my neck too, just to piss off the trolls. Because his ancestors and my ancestors had a unique understanding. As a matter of fact, our ancestors, their traditions are very similar. Most of it is worshiping nature. So, but anyway, forget all that stuff. Forget all of these dimwits. We will be watching a true halftime show where we're not going to have DEI rubbed in our face. We're not going to have men in dresses rubbed in our faces, whether you like it or not. And imagine that, the right to choose. Well, remember when the China virus happened? Nobody had the right to choose, but these people want to try to force choice down your throat. That is fascism. When people force you to do things against your will, that in and of itself is fascism. You can't force me to watch a Spanish man in a dress singing in Spanish. Sorry. That's not being racist. That's called choice. We'll drink to that. But that's how the left works, unfortunately. That's how the left always works. They want to shove shit in your face. They want you to be weird and spooky and misshapen and fat and oblong, and when they're like Sloth from the Goonies, or the Elephant Man, or Rat Boy, or something like that. They want you to be, Umbupu from Love the Last Videos, Tyler Quotes. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Much appreciate. I unfortunately, I haven't done any real reviews on the channel in 2 weeks' time now. I apologize for that. It's, I've been so focused on the live streams and stuff behind the scenes. I definitely want to review this guy. This just showed up yesterday at my doorstep. That is a German bearded axe, or a Viking bearded axe. Viking, Germanic. But I have a lot to say about this thing. It's cool. It's an axe, but not very practical or very. This is more, I guess a little bit of a spoiler with this thing. I mean, it's got Germanic markings on it. You got the Aish Helmir, and you got some runes on there. And you have the face, I guess that's supposed to be Odin, or a Viking warrior, or a Germanic tribesman, or somebody on that axe. Yeah, it looks cool, but in reality, an axe like this will get you killed. I mean, I'll give you a bit of my assessment with an axe like this. I mean, it's supposed to emulate, my Germanic ancestry and Viking ancestry. But this thing is more for decoration than anything else. I mean, a true bearded axe would not be like this fancy. No way, no how. I mean, this would be good for close quarters combat against somebody. It'd be good to like whittle away, a project if you're trying to make something out of, like if you're making like a stool and you want to round the edges on a stool or something like that. But for combat, no way. No way. No. This is more for decoration. This beard, honestly, it should be much, much longer. And a good bearded axe should be like 3 or 4 feet long, because the goal of a bearded axe is a one and done. You know what I mean? So, anyway, I apologize, everybody. I am looking at the chat. What's your take on the EP files? Dude, that thing is just completely out of control. There's like, what, a million Fantasy Island files at this point. I've kind of given up following the whole thing, because now it's out of control, man. Unless we have some stone cold facts with all of this stuff, unless we get something that's tangible, something that we can, hold on to, the whole Fantasy Island thing, man, I stay away from all that stuff. Well, I'm definitely watching the Super Bowl tonight, minus the Black National Anthem and the cross-dressing halftime show. I'm not going to have leftist ideology rubbed in my face that, a soft man somehow is more important than, a traditional man. That's not going to happen. Sorry about that. I do not duct tape my wee-wee to the side of my leg wearing a dress. Sorry. Oh, and by the way, just to bolster my testosterone, Eins, zwei. Where are you? Drei. Super. So for you men, actually, we're gonna do a testosterone-based manly male live stream. I guess if there's such a thing. So for you men out there, don't let the NFL try to warp your mind into forcibly accepting things that our society has agreed upon. Believe it or not, in the Germanic tribes and Viking culture, if you were caught with that sort of thing, you would probably just like that without even a thought. All right, there are some aspects, but yet it's yet to be proven that certain shamans would cross-dress in certain cultures, not excluding the Germanic tribes, the Vikings, the Anglo-Saxons, it could be the American Indians. There are instances, yet they're not really, there's no conclusive evidence of it. But it was more to say, hey, man, this is evil. You would probably be, even in modern day Muslim culture, that's what doesn't make sense, man. If you go to real conservative Muslim countries, man, and you do that sort of thing over there, believe me, you're done for. But if you want to bolster your testosterone to try to avoid being turned into an it-what-who pronoun leftist, I highly suggest D-aspartic acid, L-citrulline, okay, DHEA, which is a hormone, and of course, Tongkat. And these are the 4 that I cycle through to boost my testosterone levels. I mean, I'm getting up there, man. I turned 49 in 2 months. Trump 2028, baby. And there we go. Thank you, everybody, participating in my auctions over at eBay. You ladies and gentlemen of the biological type are awesome. I am being facetious, by the way. Listen, man, I don't care what people do. I really don't care what people do behind closed doors. Listen, man, if you want to have a blow-up pool filled up with cake dressing or cake icing or spray cheese in a can, and you guys want to dress up like Leather Ren and Stimpy and beat each other with sausages while wearing a leather straitjacket, hanging upside down with a chain, and that gets your rocks off, man, go ahead and do it. And you want to have septum rings and plates in your ears like this, you want to do all that shit, you can do it. Do it all. Keep it behind closed doors. Otherwise, I couldn't give a shit what you do it yourselves. All right? I really don't care. I don't care. Just because I wear that doesn't make me a fascist dictator telling people what to do. But I'm not going to have it rubbed in my face. It works both ways. You keep to yourself, I keep to myself. You do all that crazy shit behind closed doors. Let me see what we got here. Do you think New May is better or compares to Tom Brady? Nobody could ever reach the GOAT status, man. Brady, I think, is he's in another universe. Nobody's ever going to reach Brady's status, bro. Hello, everyone. Today from New York. So, how you doing from New York, my former home of the it-what-who pronoun capital of the world, where you have 6 foot tall walls of garbage everywhere? So what's it like voting for a communist and a socialist and a person that comes from a culture that makes their women walk 3 feet behind them? And if, God forbid, they wear anything other than black, they end up getting poofed. Just wondering. So how's your communist socialist government doing up there in New York? I need some advice, okay? What kind of advice? Advice time. Medication time. Medication time. God, let me just, let me see here quickly. Yeah, a lot of my auctions ended. I could see people paid for their orders, which is cool. I'll look at that later on before the game starts. But I hope you're all having fun, folks. Again, like I said, I really don't care. I really don't care. I have no stake in the outcome. People are going to do what they do. What is this? I'm not even going to read this out loud. Oh, geez. Now, when you commit yourself to this particular act, I mean, do you do it with fur? Do you do it with nylon? Do you do it with PVC? Do you wrap yourself in a plastic bag? How do you do it? Do you have like one of them vacuum bags that people get their rocks off on? Just curious, do you wrap like a thing around your neck? What do they call that? Asphyxia or something? Man, people are fucking nuts. People are goofy, folks. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Mind you, I do got a thick skin, by the way. I don't mind if the chat gets out of control, man. It's the internet, folks. Listen, the internet is there to entertain people. You know what I mean? Some people, unless you're being a blatant asshole, man. And, a lot of stuff I let slide. A lot of stuff I let slide, you know, but you know, you do got one or two idiots that are out there, but that's funny, by the way, because it opens up the imagination and say, oh my God, try to imagine that. Well, he says he's willing to replace me with a Roomba. You know, you should consider getting a vacuum cleaner, especially with different handles and different hose adapters and shit like that. You got to be multi-purpose, man. Listen, it's 2026. You know, you got to be useful. You have to be, you know, you got to, what do they call that? Multitask. You know, so, you know, the more skills you have, the better. You got to be like, what's his face? Liam Neeson, excuse me. You know, I have skills that I can use to kill you. I'm scared he'll throw me out. Jeez, just the imagination just. So, but cheers, everybody. This is not a beer. That's my unofficial drink of the channel here, folks. I'm glad you're all having a good time. We're having a cheap laugh. You know, the game. What time is, folks, do me a favor. Can you guys check for the time as to when the official pregame starts? It's 3:35 my time here on the East Coast. I think it's 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock Eastern time, something like that. I forget. I didn't bother to look. You know what it is? Before I started this live stream, I was outside talking with some of my neighbors and one of the maintenance crew here. You know, I went out and bought another case of my sugar-free Red Bulls. Thanks to all of you that have been supporting the eBay store, by the way. And a couple bags. Let me show you guys this. This is one of my favorite snacks. They're a little expensive, but they're really, really good. I love this stuff, man. I love this stuff because I really don't eat a lot of junk food. I don't eat Doritos or anything. I like these, the Quaker Cheddars. I don't know if you fellas, ladies and gentlemen of the biological type ever tried these out. They're really, really good, but they're expensive as fuck, man. But they are good. These are very good. I love eating these. I really don't eat Doritos. I'll eat baked snacks, but I really don't eat like junk or anything like that. I got hamburgers in the ice box. I got hot dogs. I mean, I'm good to go. I got 2 shelves filled up with beer. You know, should I decide to get a little thirsty, but I'm not going outside tonight, man. I did whatever I had to do today, and my eBay auctions look like they did okay. I know I'm not going to get what I was looking for a lot of them cards, but you know what, man, with all that snow and all that shit, and I've got messaged by people, you know, it's best to not eat anything out of a packet. No, I usually don't anyway. I try not to because a lot of it is just shit. You know, especially with this most recent experience with this B6 poisoning that I've been going through. You know, the pyridoxine HCl is the one that really was causing the havoc, on top of overloading on the acetylcholine stuff with the algae-based fish oil, the alpha GPC I was taking, and the acetyl L-carnitine, which is all brain food. So you really got to watch with stuff, you know. So I agree with that. A lot of processed food is junk. You know who I'm a huge fan of? Dr. Berg, Eric Berg. He makes everything so easy to understand. Now, I've been supplementing for well over almost 20 years now. But still, you're bound to make mistakes, man. But the over-the-counter CVS, Walgreens crap, all that stuff that you buy in your brick and mortar stores, it's all junk. So, who are the top 3 quarterbacks right now? Purdy definitely is one of my top 3. Well, Mahomes, obviously, but now look what's happened with him, unfortunately. And I hate to say it, I got to give it to the old man. You know, Aaron Rodgers still, man, he's still putting numbers up, even though, you know, he's starting to wind down in his career. But, yeah, processed foods are no good, you know, especially refined carbohydrates and stuff like that. So it's very rare I eat white bread. You know, most of my meals, except for like the hot dogs, I can't stand whole wheat hot dog buns. That's the only time I'll like make a rare exception and all that kind of stuff. But with all that being said, yeah, I eat a lot of turkey. I eat a lot of tuna fish, a lot of baked stuff like this. You know what I mean? All my drinks are sugar free for the most part. Ginger ale, I'll make an exception with. Fruit juices are all sugar-free. Gatorades are all sugar-free. You know, and that's how I lost the weight without exercise, just cutting back on the carbs, cutting back on the junk, you know, cooking all my meals. It's rare I eat out, you know, like I'll eat Chinese food once in a while. I'll eat Hungry Howie's pizza once in a while, which I'm kind of considering, but I got tons of food in my fridge still because of all the storms and shit that were here in the Carolinas. Both of my refrigerators are filled with food, so I have no need to order out for junk. Do you think you'll concede the records of Brett Favre? You said 3 months ago he'd come back to the NFL. I don't think that's going to happen. You know, listen, I give it to Aaron Rodgers that he's still playing, but I don't think Favre would ever make a comeback. I think he's past his prime. I could see Brady. If you know what would happen with Brady. You would have to take a 16-wheeler filled up with that thing called money and plop it in front of his face and say, come back for one season. Then he'd probably come back. He'd go back to the Bucs. I'd like to see him play for the Patriots again, but no Belichick. What do you do? So, but Rodgers at his age, I mean, he's up there. He's definitely up there. But I don't see Favre, you know, even playing a single game. No way. Brady might come back. I would like to see Brady maybe play one more game or one more season, but I highly doubt that would ever happen. He would need that magical power of a paycheck to get him to come back. But not for nothing. Not for nothing. With all the deals, all the sponsorships, the commercial deals, why the fuck would you want to come back? You know, and do more damage, and then you got his selfish whore of an ex-wife that broke up with him, who gave him an ultimatum. Either, you know, keep playing your game that made her multi-millions, unappreciative bitch, as most women are, or divorce. So he chose his game. That whole thing pissed me off with Tom Brady's ex-wife. I mean, it's like, you know, if it wasn't for him, she'd have nothing. I don't care if she was a supermodel. I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. You know, women like that, today's women, that's what, even with the last girl I just ended it with, done. No, thank you. You need to move out. We need to find an apartment. I'm like, we just started dating. And already the demands, me. I'm like, I don't even fucking know you. You know what I mean? And you want to move out and go here and go there. And I just re-signed my lease recently. How the hell with all that? May is said to be rival Tom. Why don't you think maybe he... Too soon. Time. That's why. Time. You need time. I wasn't going to open these, so whatever. It is what it is. Cheers. Because time. See, here's the problem with a lot of fans. Don't jump on the bandwagon. Stay away from the hype. That's why the sports card hobby is all fucked up like the way it is. That's why the Pokemon hobby is all fucked up like the way it is. Same thing goes for sneaker collecting. Same thing goes for jersey collecting. Stay away from the hype. All right? Stay away from the hype. Give it a season. Give it 2 seasons. Give it 3 seasons. Then that's kind of where you see where these players lie. You look at the entire roster of the Baltimore Orioles: Colton Cowser, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Jackson Holiday. You look at them 4 players alone, they were hyped to the sky, hyped to the stratosphere. In their second and third seasons, right in the shithouse. Give it time, folks. I know sports fans want their heroes. They want to place their bets and make money through the sporting apps and all that kind of stuff. So you really need to calm down. Give it a couple seasons, man. Give it some time. Time heals all, believe me. It's too soon. What's the most beautiful thing you want to do in your life? I'm doing it right now, having a good time. Doing it right now. Having a good time, enjoying myself without apologies. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? I think it's going to be the Patriots. Too soon, good answer. Now, you got to wait. In baseball, Shohei Ohtani earned his keep. Aaron Judge earned his keep. Cal Raleigh is earning his keep. Corbin Carroll has to work at it a little bit. Out of that whole 2023 rookie squad, I think he's the one that's going to be the shining light from all of them. Paul Skeens, got to give him time. He's coming up on his third season, and he's going to be in the World Baseball Classic. Once you get past the trifecta, I call it, the 3-season trifecta, get through 3 seasons of whatever sport you're in, then that's when you should say, hey, you know what, maybe this is somebody I should really be paying attention to. I try to stay away from the hype. You buy into the hype, you're going to get let down, folks. I'm telling you. A lot of my graded sports cards, that's why I got rid of a lot of them. The stupid me bought into the hype. Now I think twice. Oop, I'm spitting. That's why I tell you, never eat with your mouth open. Or talk with or chew with your mouth open. You know what I mean. But yeah, I don't buy into the hype. I try not to buy into it. Everybody's on Cooper Flagg's balls. Everybody's on Wimbayama's balls. Give it a couple seasons, man. Calm down. Everybody wants to make that quick buck when it comes to sports cards. They want to place their bets on the sporting apps so make a quick dollar. It's like, fucking calm down. That's how everybody felt about Jackson Holiday. What happened with him? What about Ellie De La Cruz? Same thing. It's like, geez, relax, folks. Brock Purdy, same thing. Calm down. Patrick Mahomes, calm down. Relax. Give it a while. You're like me. I'm a New York Giants fan at heart. I was looking so much to seeing what Cam Scatterboo and Jackson Dart would do for the Giants and what happened. And that's why I didn't get too much into the hype and I didn't get myself emotionally caught up in all of it. Cam Scatterboo's foot did a complete 180. Look what happened with him for the rest of the season. You can't get hyped up, folks. Can't do it. Can't do it. You got to calm down. Everybody needs to calm down. What time is it here anyway? Almost 4 o'clock. Jeez. Been on here for half hour already. Damn. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your viewership. Appreciate you taking some time to watch this live stream and having a bit of a discussion. Just about everything and anything. So, thank you very much to my eBay customers. I got to check out my eBay store and see how it sounded like I did pretty good with those auctions. I still have to list a couple more cards at auction to keep my word to my customers. There were a few cards I did not list at auction. I'm going to list that final batch at my earliest convenience. I'm not going to do it today because, well, it's Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. Today's my day off, technically. But one thing I will do, I give you some spoilers as to what is coming. One of my neighbors who I saw before I started this live stream, I have her son's bread toe retro Jordan 1s inside my kitchen sink as we speak. So, and I'm going to do a restoration on those, and I have a pair of clogs that are outside that I gotta restore. At least I'm going to try to. I'm seeing a lot of Trump in the chat here. Trump is our Lord and Savior. Stop eating chips and start eating raw fish with lettuce. Yep, he's gone. Auf Wiedersehen, as my people would say. See, you could say a thing like that, but if you ever encountered one of us in the street one-on-one, I bet you're a fat fuck. A fat Mr. Potato Head looking fat fuck. That one of us would beat the living, we'd turn you into mashed potato. Mr. Potato Head would be turned into Mr. Mashed Potato. Because there's sick people in this world, man. They're really sick people in this world. They're fat. Here's what DEI is. Since that person did that, since that person said that, DEI is a euphemism for jealousy. They're fat, they're ugly, they're unfuckable, they're undesirable, they're weird, they're spooky, they're strange. You know, they believe in fucking astrology and all that dumb shit. All right, they're into weird hobbies, you know, like collecting snot. You know what I mean? Their heads are misshapen. They got pimples. Their teeth look like Michael Strahan's, like this. Like you could park a bus between their teeth. All right, they got no necks. They're fat. They're just fucked up, ugly looking fucking people that have to earn. They have to earn their right. I like that comment right there. Whoever said that. Who the fuck cares, Unk? Yeah, you're right, dude. You're absolutely right. That comment right there will definitely get a standing ovation from me. You're right. You're right. It should be about the fucking ball game. You're right. I agree, man. It should be about the ball game. It should be about the ball game. I'll drink to that. Damn straight. Amen. Quit your rambling. NFL, baby. Yeah, you're right. You're all right. I give it, you know what? I'll drink to that. It is about the game, folks. It is about the game. It should be about the game. And it never is. That's why I'm glad TPUSA is doing what they're doing today to make a point. The fucking politics needs to stop. It's rare that you see me wearing this. I've been trying not to wear Trump hats, Charlie Kirk hats, or anything like that. But everything is fucking political. It's a damn game. And whoever put that comment in there, God bless you, my friend. I agree. I agree. Why did somebody, because people are sick. They do it because they're not face to face with the person. They hide behind their keyboard. They're cowards, they're chicken shits. And they're probably there with their gay fat black trans septum wearing nose ring, tattoos all over their foreheads with subdermal horns, giving them a reverse stroke. You know what I mean? And it's probably a My Buddy doll or a Cabbage Patch Kid they're doing it to, that they drilled a hole out with a rusty butter knife. Because they're freak shows, that's why. Genetic freak shows. Fat, ugly, undesirable freak shows. And then they try to use jargon and euphemisms to sound more intelligent than what they really are. I look short. Use a bigger screen. I'll look taller. Use a bigger screen. It makes me look bigger. Oh, I'm loving this today. Loving the chat. Loving the chat. I'm going for the Patriots, folks. I'm going for the Patriots. I'm a New York Giants fan at heart, to be honest with you. But I got to go with the Patriots on this one. I just can't see Seattle pulling this one off. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's probably going to be a ground game versus a fucking passing game. What are them chips called? So these are Quaker cheddar. They're like that low fat, low carb, gluten free stuff. They're really, really good. They're pricey. They're like $3 to $4 a bag for these suckers. And they got different flavors. They got caramel. These are the cheddar cheese ones. They're really, really good. Really good. Yeah, because I don't eat Doritos. I don't eat Oops. I don't eat any junk food like that. Do a backflip and I'll sub. If I did a backflip right now, I feel sorry for my neighbor downstairs. I might collapse the ceiling like a bad AI video. And end up in her bathtub. So that ain't happening. The only thing I'll backflip is just coin right here. Here you go. Heads. Yeah, you can tell people are scrambling. A lot more automobile activity outside. I think people are gathering up their final snacks and doing what they got to do before the game starts. Like, thank you all. By the way, again, ladies and gentlemen, in all seriousness, be careful out there. You're going to have a lot of people tanking down the brewskis, acting like idiots. You're going to have your Neanderthal armpit scratchers out there. You know, your American football fans or beer farts and saliva spitting everywhere, stinking like Marlboros and Budweiser. You know, and they're going to be out on the road tonight. So just be careful. You don't fucking encounter these, these Neanderthals. Me, I'm going to stay safely here at home. I got 2 shelves worth of beer. All that good stuff, man. So, not worth it. Hope you all stay safe. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to sub. Hit that thumbs up. Check out my eBay store. The link is in the description box below. I had some auctions end today. I'll check out those auctions. And thank you to my eBay customers. I always, always, always appreciate it. I will probably tomorrow. There's only a handful of them left of the cards that I promised I was going to list for auction. But with all the stuff that's been going on and all that kind of stuff that, I'll get them up there when I got some time. I'm not going to, like, today's my day off technically. So no matter how serious this is, the way you put it is so funny. Well, yeah, man, you got to have a little fun, dude. I mean, listen, as a YouTube content creator, if you can't entertain your audience, they're going to be like this. Wow, this sucks. Fuck this guy. And then immediately, loser, you suck. I hate you. Your head is big. Like I've said, hey, I got a forehead like a fucking Klingon, okay? I got a forehead like a Klingon. Look, you can actually, I guarantee you could check my head for a 90-degree angle and make sure that this is actually angled correctly. You know what I mean? Where am I from? I'm from planet Earth. Melmac. I'm from Melmac. All right. You got to have a little fun, man. You can't really be all that serious. You know what I mean? Some guys just go off the deep end. You are going to have assholes in the chat and dummies doing stupid stuff and saying dumb stuff like what happened before. But, from that point, after that, man, hey, listen, I got a pointy nose. I can cut a tin can from a mile away, dude. I bet you if you were to put me up against a ninja with a katana, all I have to do is just go like this with my face and swing with my nose. Love from India. Namaste, my friend. Namaste. Namaste. Indians had great warriors in the form of the Sikhs, man. Yeah, it's true. Listen, you get 2 big hunking guys pick me up, drill a hole in some plate metal, let my nose stick out, use me as a fucking sword because of my nose. Well, if that's the case, that's where you come from. Live long and prosper, my friend. Live long and prosper. So, which, by the way, reminds me that I am a Star Trek fan, by the way. So, that joke fits right in there. That's so perfect. Live long and prosper. Namaste, my friend. Namaste. Yeah, Sikh warriors are fucking brutal too, man. These are good. I better stop. Well, again, I hope you're all having a good time and having fun at my expense. Again, thank you to my eBay customers, friends, family, neighbors, maintenance crew, the staff where I live, everybody, you know. But a little preview of what's to come. You know, like I said, I kind of want... Slow the fuck down. Slow the fuck down. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I remember that song in school. Holy shit. So I definitely want to review this guy on the channel. This showed up yesterday. I've been wanting a bearded axe for a while, but this is kind of like, it's I got a lot of problems with this thing. A lot of problems with this thing. If you have Viking or Germanic roots, you'll know why I'm gonna criticize this. This is nice for decoration and maybe cutting your cheeseburgers up, but then what about and now I'm a psychopath. Yeah, this thing is not. This is more for show and tell. If I were to show this to somebody who is like an expert in weapons or somebody that actually knows like Norse mythology or the Vikings and all that, they would laugh at this thing. And there's reasons why you would laugh at this. It's nice. It's got the Aishalmir. It's got an image of, I think, a Viking or a Germanic warrior. Or is that supposed to be Tyr or Odin? I mean, I don't know. But this thing's a joke. It's a joke. This thing is not what it appears to be. This is more like, hey, look at my cool axe. That's really what this is. This thing is like, it's not really not what it's supposed to be meant for. Ouch. Yeah. Yeah, stone handle or some sort of really strong wood. And you need like a good bearded axe, like a traditional bearded axe. I mean, iron ore back then was extremely rare. A bearded axe would be like this big, probably like 8 to 10 inches in length, something like that, with a flat back. The lungs would wrap around pretty tight, be wrapped with leather cord, and it would be the size of a broomstick. You know, it was a one and done for chop. There you go. Somebody just said it in the chat for chopping. This thing would be like to. This thing would be like to get the calluses off of your fingernails. You know what I mean? You could scrape the gum off your shoes. Like this thing is like. It's not what it appears to be. It's more for decor than anything else. But you should get your snacks. Yeah, it's good for fishing. It's good for like. You know, you want to mess around in your backyard just to say, oh, look at me, you know, and cut a piece of wood. It is what it is. How can you say you're Christian but supporting the actions of Trump Jesus? Be very careful here. Somebody wants to be. Somebody's looking to end up getting the smoke. Just remember, a lot of religions are proto-Christian, including Norse mythology and Egyptian mythology. Don't forget that. Religions have plagiarized each other throughout the fucking centuries. So you can't glean. People have been gleaming religion from each other over fucking time, man. You look at what the hell? I got to think about this. Give me 1 second here. It's just I'm trying to pay attention to all of you. Give me 1 second here while I focus, because I want to get my shit straight here. You know, like the Aish Haramir is a proto-Christian symbology that's used to protect the person or the family, what have you, from evil, but it's also a symbol to ward off your enemies. You know, like the Christian crucifix, for example, which has the 4 bars on it. Now you have the Catholic crucifix, all right, which was plagiarized from astrology, which if you actually look at the 4 seasons, the way the astrological calendar is drawn out, if you actually were to reshape that thing, it looks like a Catholic or Christian crucifix with the circle through it. How many hundred religions are there? I eat from a pizza box out back behind Little Caesars. Wah-wah. Are you straight? Well, actually, I'm a little curved in some areas, in particular my man nipples. Would you like to see? But you would probably get your rocks off on that anyway. You're probably one of them leather perverts out there. I'm sure you have a 4-year-old standing next to you, you know, with a dog collar around their neck. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, nobody is truly straight. You look at my chin. It's actually quite curved and quite sharp. Don't know the basics of their religion. A lot of people just ignore sins. Never seen a good religion person. I feel there's nothing special about religion. Well, that's why with myself, this is where conversations tend to go off the rails because everything is left to interpretation is a euphemism for imagination. That's what that is. Interpretation is imagination. And people like to imagine a lot of stuff because people want it to fit for their individual use. You know what I mean? Michael Schumacher. Oh shit, I completely forgot about him, the race car driver. Yeah, thank you for redirecting the conversation into a more sports-oriented conversation, man, because religion can really just sour the milk. I have no problem with people's beliefs and all that. But for me, I've made my choice, how I choose to practice my beliefs. You know what I mean? Getting into religious doctrine, like religion is probably one of the greatest killers on the planet since, you know, comets, lightning bolts, floods, AIDS, cancer. You know, I'm not even going to get into it. So, yeah, I haven't heard that name, Michael Schumacher, in a while. Mr. German race car driver. Holy shit. People used to say I look like him. I'm back to this look-alike thing again. So, Michael Schumacher, James Rolfe, Burton C. Bell, Kiefer Sutherland, James Hetfield. Who is the other guy? Matthew Lillard. I've gotten all kinds of comparisons. So... oh man, that's good. But thank you, everybody. I know this conversation is kind of like it's like a Rorschach painting. It's like this. God, the bigger the channel gets, the more these live streams are going to be like, I'm going to be like this. You know what I mean? So I'm trying. Are you a racer? No, I am not. I'm a walker. I don't race. I walk. Sometimes I skip. Sometimes I might, you know, kind of do a little sidestep, maybe a little shimmy here and there, but no, I don't race. That's one thing I don't do. Maybe on the Nintendo or Super Nintendo. Ah, that is good. Well, I hope you're all having fun, folks. I know everybody's kind of like me. I'm like you ladies and gentlemen out there, the biological type, man. I'm just stretching out, enjoying myself, having a good time. Were you a player in your teenage? Only truth? Absolutely not. Like my dad wanted me to get into Little League. I played 3 years of Little League. I tried to get in a high school ball. Didn't happen. I was very quirky, very strange and weird in school. I had the long hair, the plaid shirt. I thought I was Kurt Cobain. I was one of those at one time, believe it or not. But then you grow up. You know what I mean? But yeah, I tried to play junior varsity and varsity baseball. It just wasn't happening. I had no interest in it at that time. And I could not wait to get out of school. I hated school. These are so good. They are so good, folks. I mean, we played like stickball and touch football We made up our own games and sports and stuff like that when we were kids. But pro ball or semi-pro, never did any of that. Never did any of it. You have to find balance with everything. Is the silent type better or people pleaser better for real life? I mean, you got to find balance with everything. I mean, you can't make everybody fucking happy at the end of the day. At the end of the, I've learned as I got older, I have to worry about me first. I got to worry about me first because people can drain you. They can drain you emotionally. When they finally are done using you like a fucking pencil with a pencil point, once that point wears out, they're not going to take the time to sharpen that pencil. They'll just take the pencil and throw it in the trash. You know, you got to find, still spitting everywhere. Never talk with your mouth full. How about we put these away first? How about we do that? Okay. So, what is the most stupidest reason you have had? Well, recently, as a matter of fact, I talked about that on the channel last year where my ex-girlfriend, I found out that she's here on a fucking visa, on a passport. And she kept pressuring me to move out of this apartment. And falsely accused me of all sorts of shit. The fucking cops came to my home 3 times. I sat in jail for 4 nights. I had to hire an attorney, and this is where my dad died. And the lawyer was like, there's nothing in the paperwork. What did you do? I said, nothing. So it didn't even go in front of the judge. Again, that legal term. I keep forgetting what that, I got the letter right here, as a matter of fact. There's a term for this. I always forget it. But the charges were dropped. Of course, the charges were dropped. What else is new? But I always forget what this legal term is. I have the letter right here. Without leave. That's what it's called. There's the acquittal letter right there from the attorney. Without leave, which means that the judge was like, this is a waste of time. This is bullshit. When you get something like that, when it's without leave, that means if it's not going to go in front of the judge, they know it's bullshit. They know everything is nonsense. She made all sorts of shit up about me. Try to get paperwork against me because she was here illegally. Wanted me to marry her to become a backdoor citizen, which you can't do here in North Carolina anyway. So her whole goal was to alienate me from my friends and my family and everybody else and force me out of my home to get a 2-bedroom apartment just so that she can marry me, to get my last name, probably then divorce me or fucking run away, get half my shit, and then dispose of me like a piece of trash. Well, that didn't happen, and that's the acquittal letter right there. And that's why from that, that was the last straw for me. I have tried to date since then. It's been a fucking epic fail. If you show yourself weak, many predators. Yeah, I agree. You have to have you have to put a certain shield around you sometimes. You know, even recently with certain other things I'm not going to discuss here on the channel because I do have like a verbal agreement. There's no paperwork or anything like that. It's just for the sake of the atmosphere. Certain things I'm not going to talk about. There's nothing to stop me from talking. It's just I made certain promises to people verbally, you know, especially a person I consider to be a friend. Now, I'm not going to really get into certain shit. But, you know, you do have a lot of people out there that just fucking grift. I mean, they truly grift. They really grift. I now have a sign on my door basically chasing people away. I've had to chase people off my patio even recently. Come to knock at my door because all they do is fucking drink booze from 8 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock in the afternoon to 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Then they come up here on my patio to my apartment sniffing out beer, and I got to chase them away. I'm done handing out stuff to people. There's maybe 2 or 3 people around here from a certain group of people that I would probably give a plate of food to or something like that. Everybody else I got no use for. They're fucking vultures. They're leeches. They're good for nothings. Sorry to say it. But listen, man, I went through my hard times. You know, I was homeless for a year and all that kind of shit. Now I sell baseball cards out of my home, running my own business, running a legitimate LLC. Picked myself up, brushed off the dust. Everybody who I thought were my friends and fucking brothers, and they're all pieces of shit that God will eventually, God will, let me tell you, I believe it firmly in divine revenge, divine intervention, divine vengeance. You know, believe me, God has a way of serving out divine justice. Let me tell you, oh, it's happened already. I've seen it happen, even in my own family. I warned certain people in my family certain things are going to happen, and they've happened. Nobody wants to listen until it's too late. Oh, I should have listened to you. Know what I mean? Love that hat. Thank you very much. Yeah, I shall not in any way, shape, or form watch the fucking NFL halftime show. I will be watching the Turning Point USA show. That's for sure. That's a guarantee. That's why I'm wearing this hat today. I try not to wear political stuff. I try not to. It's enough having the it what who DEI, which is a euphemism for jealousy, having the cross-dressing, anti-American, you know, trying to literally reprogram us into what we have already agreed upon in our society. You know what I mean? It's fucking bullshit. Having fun means wasting life and human resources and putting yourself in trouble. Yeah, I've made a conscious decision essentially to turn my back on a lot of stuff. Keep triggering sensitive people, brother. I do all the time. Oh, I have a whole fucking laundry list of people that hate my guts. They hate my guts. They want to see me. Well, you know the term already. You know, oh, I've got a laundry. All of us have enemies out there. The lines have been drawn in the sand. But I'm not going to stop for anybody. So, what was I going to say? Forgive me, because I'm paying attention to the chat and trying to answer all you guys all at once. But, you know, listen, man, at the end of the day, you got to stay in your lane. Just keep fucking going. Listen, I've had people call the FBI on me. I've had people fucking dox me. I've had people send death threats to me. You know, I've had these who pronoun assholes from New York. One of them who's a Jewish dentist with his 2 kids. Big fucking coward, went to my old apartment, had his kids scream at my former apartment, but he wouldn't come face to face to me because he's a chicken shit, just like all of his friends who are chicken shit, would never stand within 2 inches of me. You know what I mean? They hide behind their computers and all that kind of stuff. It's pathetic. So, what watch is that? That is a G-Shock. And I have 3 of them. That's not a flex, by the way. Stay in your lane. That's the whole trick. Stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane. You know what I mean? You got to stay in your lane, folks. You got to, sometimes you can't worry about others. You can't let people distract you. You know, I've fallen for that way too many times throughout my life. And after what I went through last year in 2025, those days are done. The fucking door is closed. And now I take notes, I write things down, I take photographs, videos, all that kind of stuff. I'm done with all that kind of stuff anymore, folks. You just got to stay in your lane. You got to do you. You can't worry about anybody else unless somebody's laying dead in front of you or somebody's starving and they're cold and freezing because they don't have a fucking blanket to wear. In those cases, yeah. But you do have people that take you for granted, that use you. I have a name right now. I can blur it out if I want to. Who begged me for my house key so that he can have sex with women, not just in this apartment, but in my former apartment in North Charlotte, who used me for my notoriety to help him get his passport, to help him get his driver's license, and not just Atlanta, Georgia, but in fucking Chicago, Illinois. I went with him to do it. How many times he slept with women in the fucking parking lot in the property where I live, and then all of a sudden fucking turned his back on me when I was there, when his fucking mother died years ago, when he tried to cut his face off with a broken bottle. Some friend. And now every time I see him, I spit. I literally spit. I go, pff, or I'll make fun of him. I'll make fun of him because that's no friend of mine. Meanwhile, this is a person who I stopped a fucking drug dealer from going after his wife and son, who I literally put my body between them and everything else, and lied to the fucking police because he got so drunk A couple times he forget to lock his work truck, then he call the police and claim that somebody was breaking into his truck. Oh, I got dirt on a lot of people. I'm the type of guy that when you do dumb shit in front of me, I go into my mental Rolodex and I start putting little Post-it notes in my brain. And then when you fucking betray me, that's when it all comes out. And I'm done. I'm done being fucking nice with people like this. When I see this individual and I've done it, I will tell him and I'll look at him, fucking traitor. Oh, Costa Rica, I'm going back to Costa Rica. So says the fucking man, you know, who I've had here in my home and cooked for and fed, gave his son hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of fucking baseball cards, jerseys and everything else. Fed him fucking beer without asking for a dime, and that's how he repays me. And that's how I treat everybody now. I take notes. I take notes. And you know what? In a way, solitude is good for stress. I prefer my peace of mind. I've lost all of that weight. I lost almost 100 pounds at this point in my life. Unfortunately, with that B6 poisoning I've been dealing with, you know, my health has improved. My emotional state has improved. Going through this has taught me about how fucking... I thought, and again, for the record, I'm going to show this because, you know, I know there are jealous assholes that don't like the fact that I still have an untarnished reputation because they tucked tail and ran in the opposite direction. While I was in New York, when 9/11 happened, all right, I was at that World Trade Center site. I literally have 3 letters showing that I was down there and put my life on the line. I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. To me, I have no use for to be honest with you, I have no use. I have no use for useless people. Especially if you're trying to get something out of me. Anyway, Seahawks to win the Super Bowl. I apologize, guys. I know that the conversation's kind of getting a little serious again. Forgive me for that. You know, I know a lot of you guys and gals are, you know, trying to get to know me and all that kind of stuff. And I appreciate that. But yeah, it's just there's some assholes out there. They don't give a shit. Hello from Wales, UK. Welcome aboard from across the pond. By the way, shameless e-beg, and forgive me, my nose is itchy. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. Check out my eBay store. The link is in the description box of every video, live stream, and short that I do here on YouTube. I will hopefully do a full-fledged review. I haven't done a review in 2 weeks. Excuse me. The closest thing that I've done to a review was that Transformers Studio Series Soundwave live unboxing and review. But I haven't done an actual review in a while, so. Is that Thor's hammer? Yeah, the Mjolnir. That's it right there with the Eishhelmir on it. So, and of course, you see the Eishhelmir, which is a protection symbol, which is proto-Christian. It's supposed to be a symbol to ward off your enemies or scare off your enemies, and it's also used to it's used as a protection symbol from evil. But yeah, that's the Mjolnir. So, and that's a Christian, proto-Christian cross that my Native American friend Rob gave to me before he died. Took it right off his neck. I had another one of these that I gave to him, and he took this right off his neck and gave it to me, and I wear it proudly around my neck. So, and I got his photo right there, as a matter of fact. So, but yeah, that's Thor's hammer, but the helm of awe, they call it in English, but the Mjolnir and the Eishhelmir, that's what's on here. Valor of faith in Nordic, so I'm covered in Viking tattoo symbolizing the gods. Yeah, I mean, I really am not a practicing pagan. The only reason I wear it is out of respect for my Germanic roots. You know, the founding last name of my family is Hildegard. So if you know the name Hildegard, that's the name of the Valkyrie that Odin appointed to rescue the souls of the fallen warriors to the gates of Asgard into Valhalla. So, You know, I dabble in some of that stuff. I was just talking about this. I just picked this up recently, even though it's a joke. You know, this is really not accurate to anything or practical. You know what I mean? But it's cool. It looks cool. It's good to decorate your apartment with, but it's not. This wouldn't be a warrior's axe. This would not be a tribesman axe. So, oops. This would not be the kind of axe a tribal warrior would use, unless it was like a ceremonial thing. Yeah, it just looks cool. See, you know where I'm coming from. You already know the criticisms I'm going to give to this thing. The beard on this thing is way too small. It would never be this fancy. Iron ore back then was very rare and very scarce. So, you know, especially, you know, during brutal winters and stuff like that, you know, if you were getting raided by other tribes or something, or if you had to deal with the Romans or what have you, or maybe, you know, the Ottomans coming from the east, you had the Celts coming from the west, you had the Romans coming from the south. I mean, your weapons would be very crude, you know, and all that kind of stuff. This thing, the beard on this would be much bigger. It was meant to hack and grab the shields and pull shields down and hack away at legs and arms. This handle would never be that wide. No way. You know, it would basically be, you know, a strong piece of wood with an iron axe on the head. It would never look like this. This is just something that's good for decoration for modern days. But unless you were like a tribal leader or a king or royalty, it might be for ceremony. Like if you were trying to make a trade deal with another tribe or something like that, you would make something special like this, you know, as a gift to the tribal leader. Or maybe for something for a religious, you know, shaman or shaman, however you want to pronounce it. But it's cool. It looks good. But, I mean, it is what it is. But that's one review I yet to do on the channel. So, what time we got here, folks? Oh, wow, 4:30. It's an hour and change. And I heard, are you going to invest in the stock market? No. No, I will not. Yeah, I got a lot of notifications for eBay. I really got to check up on my eBay account. Do you ever work at a data center? No, I work from home. I sell baseball cards. I am my own boss. I am my own God. No, I am not trying to claim to be a deity. I'm just joking. Oh my God, blasphemy! Blasphemy! Stone him! Stone him! Oh shit! Whoops! Slow down, man! Whoops! Whoopsie! Oh my God! I am all over the place. You know what it is? I'm not used to having a big audience like this. As the channel gets bigger, hopefully if it gets bigger, I'm really going to have to just like pick and choose topics to talk about. Not saying that I can't keep up with you folks, but man, I was not expecting. This is probably one of the biggest audiences I've had on the channel. Let me grab some foaming spray in my drill here. That's because I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to entertain all of you and trying to sound like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. No, I'm not going to invest in the stock market. That's not going to happen. I'm not very good with stocks and bonds or investments or things like of that nature. By the way, little trick. I think I mentioned this in one of my live streams when I had a little bit of a well, thank God that cup. Oops, see again. Here we go. Woo, 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 woo. Trying to keep up with all of you. I'm not used to having a big audience like this today. 13 likes. That's awesome, man. Thank you, folks. I appreciate that. Basically, what I'm doing, I got a little bit of that leftover Red Bull there, and I don't want that sugar to make my carpet sticky. So if you want to get something to be Johnny on the spot, just like, you know, in your car, this works really great on your home carpet. I do have a steam cleaner I'm gonna have to steam my carpet anyway. Take the brush basically and just go back and forth and work that foam in, and then that's pretty much it. Yeah, because once that stuff gets in the carpet, it gets sticky. It's pretty much over. I mean, I'm pretty much not saying I'm a neat freak in that way, but you know, I try to maintain a clean home. You know, my apartment is small, but I do try to keep it as clean as humanly possible, because you know, if you can't keep your home clean, what kind of life can you have? You know what I mean? You can't really have a good life without a good home, in my opinion. Home is where the heart is, as the saying goes. Everything is where you put your head down. You know what I mean? To sleep. You know, I eat here, I drink here, I sell my sports cards here. I'm talking to you fine folks in this live stream here. We're all having a good time. You know, all that kind of stuff. So, and by the way, future restoration project. This is one or two of the pairs of footwear that I'm going to be working on. This is my neighbor's son's OG breads. So, man, they are beat up, scuffed up, messed up, and fucked up 10 times from Saturday. So, this is going to keep me busy for a while. So thank you, everybody, for participating in this live stream. I'm probably going to end it in a little bit. Just want to make myself something to eat. I want to check out my eBay account and see how I did. But thank you, everybody, for having a good time and watching me fumble. I'm not used to having a big audience. That's what it is, you know. I mean, I usually get the same people coming in, but as the channel gets bigger and bigger, you know, it's going to be harder for me to keep up with all of you. So, but I've been having fun, man. I've been having fun. We really haven't had too much bullshit. You know, I think everybody's playing it safe today, and at the end of the day, as long as everybody's having a good time and watching the game and not doing anything stupid, you know, I guarantee all these retards are going to be out there in fucking Minnesota going their typical daily hissy fit. You know how it is, folks. I don't have to tell you. I think my audience is more intelligent and astute than that. And they're all wearing like lizard costumes and bullshit, just to shield themselves from the reality that they're actually, a lot of them are committing crimes. Okay. But then again, like I said, folks, I really appreciate the time you're taking. You don't have to spend this time with me, but you are. Thank you for all of that. Let me put this away before I have any more tragedy by my own accord here, knocking stuff over all over the place. Okay, that's it. Easy come, easy go, easy fix, right, folks? Romans took most of my country's land. The Romans did that to a lot of people, man. The Romans were the most, probably the most brutal of them all. You know, they took land from the Britons. They took land from the Germanic tribes. They took land from the Celts, you know, the Anglo-Saxons. They took land from everybody. The Romans and the Spanish are probably, I would have to say, probably the most brutal. And then the Ottoman Empire out east began to push their way west, and they were just as bad from a different direction. Yeah, European, and this is why I posted this on my community page. And a lot of these supposed American Indians or Native Americans or Americans something or other, they're all hypocrites. And anybody that says otherwise are full of shit and don't know history. Let me tell you, the American Indian, the Native Americans that they claim to celebrate, they were just as fucking brutal. Just like with the Germanic tribes fighting off the Romans. Let me tell you, they had to fight off each other because when the tides turned and food was scarce and resources were scarce and the weather was brutal, let me tell you, there was tribal warfare, and it was just as fucking bloody, all right? And territory was seized from one Native American tribe to the next. So they themselves are conquerors too. Fucking hypocrites. I'm saying this as somebody with Germanic roots. A lot of them who deny that dishonor themselves. They really do. They dishonor themselves. And by the way, a lot of Native American tribes versus a lot of Germanic tribesmen and the Vikings, they basically, the way they worship nature and the land and their gods are almost exactly the same in a lot of ways. Even though most shamans or shamans in Germanic culture or Viking culture, they really didn't use drums or anything like that. Maybe in rare ceremonies, but the cultures are almost exactly the same. The way they went about things. Maybe the structures of their homes or whatever may have been different, but essentially the way they went about things was exactly the same. But they were just as fucking brutal, and a lot of Native American cultures were conquerors themselves, especially when resources ran low. Fur, meat, especially if numbers started to dwindle, they needed to find the strongest men to propagate with their women to keep their fucking bloodlines going. They had to negotiate trade between the tribes, especially for metal and spices and all that kind of thing. So don't give me that shit that they're fucking innocent. Their hands are just as bloody as the rest of us are. So American Indians are savages, just like the fucking Germanic tribes and the Vikings and the Romans and the Celts and the Britons, the Sioux, the Pawnee, all of them are just as fucking bad. Past tense. They're not innocent, folks. Don't let them fool you. They had to fight for territory just like everybody else. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And they talk about the fucking white man. You know how many interactions Native Americans had with the Vikings and the Germanics throughout their history? And the trade went well because the way they worship their gods, whether it's Tyr or Odin versus whatever god Native Americans would worship, whatever the names of their god, the way they went about it is almost exactly identical. The only difference being the skin color. That's it. Otherwise, the way they worship nature, it was all about worshiping nature. More or less. And I'm really generalizing here. But as far as the Vikings and the Germanic tribes versus a lot of these Native American tribes, you very rarely seen that. It was until the fucking British and people like that started coming over here. And the Spanish, they're the ones that gave a lot of shit to the Native Americans. Those fuckers are conquerors. The Romans are conquerors. But if you want to talk about in general terms, let me tell you, if a fucking Native American tribe had to survive, they were going to raid somebody else's territory and go into tribal warfare. And don't tell me they were innocent, because they are not. And don't let them fool you. And don't let leftists fool you. Why do you think here, I'm wearing a Kansas City Chiefs jersey. Why do you think a lot of American sports fans appreciate that? Because they were fucking fighters. Americans love a story like that. They love to see the story of the underdog. Why do you think the New York Mets exist? You know what I mean? I'm being facetious, but don't let these people try to fucking fool you that American Indians somehow are innocent and gentle. No, they weren't. They were just as fucking brutal and savage as the fucking Vikings were. Okay? Same thing like with African tribes as well. African tribes too were just as fucking brutal. You see that happening today. They light people on fire, folks. American media won't allow you to see it because it goes against their narrative. God, are people dumb. That's why they want to change history and sweep it under the rug. That's why they want to tear down all these statues. They don't want you to know that. You look at look at Japanese axes. Look at this thing, even though it's a toy, more or less. I consider this to be a decoration or a toy. A real Germanic or Viking axe would not look like this. This is a decoration. You look at an American Indian hatchet or an axe or bearded axe. You look at a Viking axe and you look at a Japanese axe. They all share almost the exact same thing in common. Swords, shields, spears. American Indians used spears. They used axes. They used bow and arrows. Why? I wonder why. Warfare. And they were fucking brutal about it. A lot of the garb wasn't just to represent their families, their family lines, their heritage, or whether they were, religious figures or whatnot. It was meant for intimidation. A lot of the Germanic tribesmen, they wore wolf skins. They went to find these shamans or shamans underground and literally were trying to become wolves. Know what I mean? They were literally trying to become the spirit of a wolf through intimidation tactics and everything else. They would literally howl like wolves, oh, all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. American Indians did all that kind of dancing stuff for a reason. It was to intimidate their enemies. Like the haka. Like the warriors from New Zealand. The haka. This thing. That's to intimidate their enemies. The garb, the clothing, the weapons, the wolf skins. It's all the same shit, folks. The great American red, white, and blue lie is that Native Americans are fucking innocent. No, they're not. My ancestors are not innocent either when it came to fucking trading land and fighting for land and territory and resources, man. It's all bullshit. And these fucking leftists, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They really don't. They have no idea what they're talking about. Let's just say if we were in ancient times, we go back a millennia or two, let's give these people a fucking sword and shield and a battle axe. And I'm not talking about whatchamacallit there. I'm not talking about a Greek axe, a double-headed battle axe. That was very impractical back then. Most axes look like this. It was a single blade with a flat back to hammer things, and you would see the lungs wrapped around the grip. All right? They're ubiquitous in all these cultures, man. It's almost the same thing. People were trading blows for centuries, including American Indians, including the Germanic tribes, including the Britons, including the Celts, including the Romans. Don't let these people fool you. Let's see these it, what, who pronoun freaks bear a sword and shield and fight. Believe it or not, in Norse mythology, if you were a Germanic tribesman and you found somebody that did what these people do today, well, can't say it because it's YouTube, and I'm not going to say it, but I think you can infer that you would definitely not be you would not be welcomed in the food. You would not be in the top of the food chain. Let's just put it that way. You would be cannon fodder. You'd be the first to go. You got certain people out there that were born into farmers were laughed at in Germanic culture because they were thought to be a joke because they were thinkers, they were talkers. But when it came down to it, when you have to fucking kill, you have to kill. You had your religious figureheads in Native American culture, but if you had to fight and kill to protect your culture and your land and your food resources, your fur, your spices, your women in particular, your children, you're going to fight to the death, man. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Don't let these American Indian, shills try to lie to you to say they were so peaceful and it's the white man. Bullshit. They're just as fucking bad. That's a lie. By the way, I am, I'm just looking at the chat here. Nice plant. I saw you had some less lethal content. Well, right now I got my 4.86 ounce bottle of Sabre Red pepper spray on my belt. that I leave. This is my American Express card. I don't leave home without it. I don't leave home without it. 4.86 ounces, which comes just shy of the 5-ounce maximum requirement that a citizen's allowed to have here in North and South Carolina. And the actual measurement is 150 cubic centimeters. So that's what I carry on my person as much as I possibly can. I still have everything else. I got my less lethal pepper ball launchers. I got my batons. I got everything. It's perfectly legal. Not just according to our Second Amendment right, but within the legal bounds of North Carolina law. Specifically 14-52.1.2 and .3, the Stand Your Ground law. There are certain weapons that are banned or are illegal here in North Carolina, but everything I have is perfectly legal, no matter what certain people think. Snap, crackle, pop. Ooh, man. Ooh. But anyway, I think I just might end it right here, folks. I'm actually starting to get a little hungry. You cannot live on potato chips and snacks, folks. Very interesting conversations here today. It's very, very interesting to see the different, the different conversations going on and, chitter chatter that goes on with this channel. These live streams are becoming more and more interesting as more and more people subscribe to the channel and we get into this type of talk. We went from hobbies to religion to sports to weapons to self-defense to everything else. But again, just to wrap this all up in a nice, neat little bow, folks, to be honest with you, again, politically speaking, I don't give a shit about a lot of it anymore. I really don't. I'm too old for this stuff. As long as people stay out of my way, I'm going to live my life my way. I'm not out there with pitchforks and doing what these morons are doing right now out in the streets, throwing this fucking temper tantrum. If you know and you realize and you're self-aware that, hey, you're not an alpha, people have not accepted you because they think you're weird and spooky and strange and, well, fucking earn it. Look at Ricky Berwick. Do it. Live by the Ricky Berwick philosophy. That dude took his disability and turned it into an ability. That dude has the superpower of the meme behind him. He became a meme. And now that dude is he is untouchable, man. I love Ricky Berwick. That dude is amazing. Take a disadvantage and turn it into an advantage, folks. Use it to your advantage. Everybody should live according to their gifts. But if you're trying to, let's just say you're a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs and you're trying to take my jersey off of my shoulders and you're not willing to work for it or pay for it, you just want it because you said so, fuck you. Or because you are what you think you are. That's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. We have agreed to certain things in our society, and you have to abide by society's rules. This has been happening since the formation of this country, and even before that. All right, so enough. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, what comes down to my life, I don't give a fuck what people do. So long as you don't get in my way, you don't get pie on my face, stay away from me. I stay away from you. You live and let live. I got people here that are not conservatives. I've been moving more towards the center again. There's a lot of dumb shit Trump has been doing lately that I don't like. Grocery prices still haven't come down to where I'm satisfied. A lot of things he's doing I'm not happy with. You know what I mean? The tariff thing fucking sucks. Even to get this thing imported here from across the pond from Europe, what it cost me in extra tariffs to get a $60 or $70 decoration for my apartment to honor my roots cost me an extra $30 in tariffs to have shipped here. That's not what I fucking want. In that way, yes, Trump is a dick. And I'm saying that as a Trump supporter. But with all that being said, folks, at the end of the day, I really don't care. You do what you want. Not my place to go around telling people what to do with themselves. Just don't expect me to like what you like. We can get along with other things. Hey, man, I got people that are on this channel now who are Transformers fans. We don't have to be Democrat, Republican. You know what I mean? We don't have to be left or right. We could still be fans of this and put this off to the side. You know what I mean? And just celebrate the fandom. Like tonight, we're all going to be watching the Super Bowl. Will I be watching Bad Bunny, whatever the hell his name is? No, because I don't agree with the fact that if he's going to be singing in Spanish, this country has agreed to English. We have all agreed universally that English is our language here in this country. Not saying you have to poo-poo on your roots. I'm not poo-pooing on my roots. I respect the fact I have Germanic roots, which I just found out that my Mjolnir is backwards again for the second time because I was not paying attention. I got dressed this morning. The skull should be looking outward. I'm an idiot. There we go. Now that's right. Sorry, folks. Man, I'm going blind. And my eyes are getting worse and worse. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. We just don't agree how to get to the outcome. We don't agree how to get the end result. That's our biggest problem. We're not willing to compromise. And it's a shame. I mean, there are things that, I'm stubborn about. I might be a little bit more open-minded about things compared to some other people, but at the end of the day, it's just trying to get to the end result. You know what I mean? But after that, there are people that love weapons. There are people that love jerseys. There are people that love religious symbology. There are people that love reading glasses. There are people, like I said, that love Transformers toys. There are people that love baseball cards. We don't have to be political when it comes to that. We have something in common. Holy shit. Can you imagine that? We got something in common. We can actually find things to have in common with each other without having to attack one another. Find that, start with that one thing that's in common. Find that one thing that you have in common with somebody and build from there. Oh, we're different. We're all very different. We have different tastes in food. We have different cultural backgrounds, different languages. There are 10 different ways to turn on that light. There are 10 different ways to put this hat on. There are 15 different ways to open up these cans of Red Bull right here. It's the end result. How do you get to the end result? 12 different people will have 12 different ways of getting to that end result. That's what we need to figure out right there. And that's the beauty of it. That's how you get to know people. How they go about their way. So long as it's civilized and it's not criminal and illegal. At the end of the day, the other stuff is just bullshit. Like tonight. I choose, because I don't believe in men wearing dresses, and I love my Latino brothers. My kids are half Spanish. Both of them are half Spanish. Half Colombian, half German through me and their mom. Most of my friends are black and Hispanic. Doesn't bother me. You're down, you're down. You're cool. Excuse me, you're cool. But we all have different ways of approaching the end result. Like me, I don't tie my shoelaces when I put my shoes on. I have a certain way of setting up my Nike Air Jordans where I could just slip them on my feet. Most people tie their shoes. Most people have Velcro on their shoes because they don't know how to tie shoelaces. That's how I set mine up. Put the knot right there, pull the laces through on the side. It looks a little bit more relaxed, doesn't look so uptight. Everybody has a different way of reaching the final step. The end game, the final result, you know what I mean? Maybe my way is not the correct way. Maybe my way is hard. Maybe my way is easy. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of life. Thank you to my eBay customers, by the way. That's what that was, that cha-ching. My eBay customers, man, you are some of the best human beings on the face of this planet. Thank you for supporting a small business. But again, folks, a lot of it is bullshit. You got people out there that want us, I know listen, a lot of the stuff I talk about is more facetious and just more for conversation. But there are people that are out there that want us to literally fight. They literally want us to argue and fight and combat one another. They want our families to be destroyed. They want to destroy our traditions, our values. There are people that choose to live in solitude. There are people that choose to have people around them all the time. It's how you walk out that door and what you do. You know, the end game, the end result. It's what makes us what we are, man. You know, what I do in my home is not what many of you do in your homes. That's the beauty of it. You live your life as you choose. When we get together, we kind of have to compromise and work together without pissing each other off or trying to one-up each other. Unfortunately, that's just the way society is now. It doesn't have to be. But again, like I said, a lot of things these days, as I've gotten older, frankly, I don't give a shit what a lot of people do. It's not for me. And if I say I don't like a thing and you're still trying to push that thing on me, that's when the problems start. After that, there are people that hate this hat. Man, they hate this hat. Like, I don't like the rainbow. I don't like the rainbow thing. Oh, I love rainbows when I see them in the sky through natural occurring events. But the rainbow now represents an ideology I simply don't agree with. But there are people that do believe in that sort of thing that don't bother fucking anybody. They don't bother anybody. It's our pretension to judge everybody around us, that we lump everybody together into the same fucking category that gets us upset. Know what I mean? Well, I'm the straight rainbow. I'm just reading this one comment that popped up here. I worship the straight rainbow. It goes from black to gray to dark gray to light gray. You know what I mean? To almost ivory to white. You know what I mean? The straight rainbow. You know what I mean? Listen, like I said, man, all joking aside, I don't give a damn. And I am nobody. I'm just an asshole that sells baseball cards and other shit, wearing jerseys, talking about sneakers, and collecting toys with a big fucking forehead, like a Klingon. Like somebody hung me from my feet and dragged me in the back of a car through a dirt road. And that's just one big scab on my head. You know what I mean? I could say that. Know what I mean? It's all bullshit, folks. We're all here for football. But I cannot support this halftime show. Nope. Love my Latinos, man. Mi corazón es para ti. But, well, basically saying my heart is for you. I am not even going to repeat what this person is saying. And if that comment isn't retracted, you're nuked. Nice try. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to waste my time. Nice try. Not going to happen. So anyway, folks, I'm prattling on here. Now I'm starting to sound like a preacher. No, it's not my goal to preach. At the end of the day, you do what the fuck you want. Do what you want. Go about your life how you see fit. See, one of the things in Norse mythology and Nordic culture and in a Germanic culture, even Christianity and Catholicism in some ways, man, when fate, God has a path for you, no matter what God you worship, no matter what deity you worship. Some man with a beard and mustache and long hair, you know what I mean? Most religions have that entity. It's ubiquitous in all the major religions. A man with long hair and a beard and mustache. So whatever that man is saying, with a book in his hand, wearing robes of some type, you know, there is a thing built into doctrine called fate, not faith, fate. Your path is already predetermined, man. It's just you got to walk it. You got to walk it. You got to stay in your lane. Every time I've tried to deviate from that path that's been laid out in front of me, and my path, unfortunately, has been difficult in a lot of ways, it's my path to walk. That's what's been laid out in front of me. There are things I wanted to have happen in my life. There are things I didn't ask for to happen in my life that have happened. And I've had to adjust accordingly. At the end of the day, do what the fuck you want. Not my place, man. Not my place to tell you good folks what to do. Most of you, I would assume, are logical, intelligent, self-aware adults that say, well, maybe I shouldn't be sticking a knife in a wall socket. Not very good for the body, you know what I mean? So on that note, folks, I'm going to call it a day, been on here for almost 2 hours. All that other bullshit, like I said, it's dumb. It's really fucking dumb. A lot of it is a waste of time. But at the end of the day, there's certain compromises, unfortunately, that cannot be made. Especially when it comes to our kids, when it comes to our values, our ethics, our morals. You know what I mean? You know, you got to pick and choose your fights and your battles. Are you serious? I'll answer this question. Are you serious with that hat, or are you just mocking Trump supporters? What do you think? I'll give you some time to answer that question. What do you think? What do you think? You just showed up to this live stream, I bet. And you only got about maybe 2 or 3 minutes of context versus an hour and 45 minutes of a live stream. So tell me again, what do you think? How about you go back and you watch the previous 1 hour and 46 minutes now, according to the clock here that I've been speaking? What do you think? See, this is the perfect example of an unintelligent, unenlightened, dumbass society that we live in, where people instantly react without fucking thinking, without taking the time to take a look and analyze things and doing homework and doing research. I am not even going to bother. Don't even try to put the ball back in my court with that reverse psychology bullshit. I asked you a question. What do you think? You just showed up here. But I bet you weren't here for the hour and 45 minutes I've been talking. So you're reacting out of the corner of your fucking left ass cheek. And this is a perfect example of internet assholes, internet intelligence. Everybody gets emotional, like the Joker would say. Everybody loses their minds. Get some context. Watch the previous almost 2 hours I've been talking, dumbass. And then you'll answer your own question. This is the internet. This is what the internet produces. Numbnuts in, numbnuts out. Instant reaction without context behind it. Oh, I've already gone outside. I've been outside. I go outside anytime I want. I've gone out multiple times with my Trump hats. And you know what? Nothing happens. Nothing happens. So what this person is attempting to do, so you have to understand these people. This is a person that's attempting to get me to react. This is what you call putting a carrot in front of the horse. And it's not going to work. Nice try, dickface. Doesn't work, and it's not going to work. This person is attempting to goad me into going blah, like a lot of people do on camera. I mean, I am reactionary, but this is what you call laying out the breadcrumbs to see if the fucking mouse will follow the trail, and it's not going to happen. Sorry, nice try. I go out with my hats anytime I want. You should see what the back of my car looks like. Oh, I got a lot of Trump stickers on my car. Lots of them. So I don't even need a Trump hat on my head. All I have to do is just parade my car around. And everybody knows what I'm all about. So this is just another internet, brainlet trying to get me to go off the rails here on camera. And I have learned well over time not to give these people what they want. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that comment. I'm going to read this out loud. Thanks for sharing the knowledge. I saw the past 20 minutes, and I like your views. Very logical. Yes. You know why? I have an example of this. Many of you who've probably seen me talk about this on the channel, I was assaulted over at the Walmart parking lot during the holidays. I was sucker punched in my neck for no reason. One of my senior citizen African-American neighbors who has a walker was outside in front of Walmart. And we have a good relationship. We talk all the time. Great, decent guy. I mean, there are things he does that I don't quite jive with, but at the end of the day, we see each other, we're cordial, we talk, we laugh, we joke. Okay, and this little black man with 3 little kids, all right, 3 little kids, and see, here's what makes my life easy: the wonderful superpower of blocking people. I love that. Poof. Look at that. I have a magical power. It's called blocking. So with that being said, I'm talking with my African-American senior citizen neighbor, and he just walks up to me and stares at me like this for no reason at all. Okay? And we're talking, and then he moves in front of me. I'm like, dude. So he was trying to play the race card because he probably thought something bad was going on between me and this guy. And I was wearing one of my Trump hats. And the dude turned around and punched me right in my neck. And I grabbed him faster than a fucking mouse can bite into a piece of cheese. And this dude couldn't do anything. The only problem I had is I lost my balance and fell into a pile of shopping carts. But even then, he still couldn't hit me because I learned in self-defense that when people are trying to lunge at you, use your body to shield yourself. In this case, just like with a spear or even with this, for example, the goal of this is to draw the limbs in. That's why they have these hooks on these axes to draw the legs in. In my case, you know, being that I tripped over a bunch of shopping carts behind me, I used my legs as javelins. And all he could do was hit my shins. He really did nothing. But you know what made me the better man? Restraint. Restraint. Everybody there said, why didn't you hit him? You could have destroyed that guy. Boom, 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 doing this and doing that and doing this. And he couldn't touch me. He couldn't hit me. He was trying to punch my face. I had my face guarded. He couldn't hit me, couldn't punch me, couldn't touch me. When I tripped into the shopping carts and fell into the shopping carts, because I didn't look behind me and I didn't see what was behind me, he still couldn't hit me. I showed restraint. And then eventually, over time, the police, they looked at the cameras because the cameras were pointing right down at us. And of course, they were claiming, oh, white boy, racist, racist. Turns out he's the one that sucker punched me first. Therefore, he was the aggressor. He was guilty. So he tried to play, well, I'm black, which means I'm innocent card. That didn't happen. He was the aggressor. And it was on camera, and it was caught. So the police asked me, and they interviewed my neighbor that I was talking to, do you want to press charges against that man? I said, no, Christmas is around the corner. I'm not like them. I'm not like them. I could have hit him back and I didn't. I showed restraint. That's what makes a better man, is when to know when to fight and when not to fight. Because people like that are looking for you to do things. They're looking for you to go, they're looking for you to become unhinged. They want you to make mistakes. It's like this whole thing that happened with this meme that allegedly accidentally Trump and Truth Social put out with that whole Obama thing. But of course, they focus on that. With the Obama and his wife meme. I'm not even going to describe what that was. I've seen it in whole, the whole video. If you actually look at the entire meme itself, it's a video of Trump being the king of the jungle. And he's walking by. You see the Clintons, you see AOC, you see Mom Donnie, that all of them are animals, but they hyper fixated on Obama and his wife without any context behind it. Because they wanted the reaction. They needed something to grasp onto, because that's what the left does. They hyper fixated on Obama and his wife looking like a certain jungle animal. But I saw the whole video. Joe Biden is another animal there, eating a banana. Hakeem Jeffries is singing, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. And you see this. And there's Trump. There's Trump walking along just like this as the king of the jungle. It was a fucking meme. But they hyper fixated on that one thing because that's what they do. But they wouldn't talk about Biden being in that meme. They didn't talk about AOC looking like a jackass, whose head was superimposed over a jackass's body, because she is a jackass. From my former home of Queens, by the way, who represents, I think, Astoria. She's Joe Crowley's predecessor, or successor, excuse me, successor. She came after. Context, idiots. Watch the whole fucking thing. Unintelligent brainlets, fucking Neanderthals, cement heads, empty walnut shells. Watch the whole meme. I think Kamala Harris is in it. A lot of them are in it. But they hyper fixated on those two. Because they need to hook on to that. Now, Tim Scott called him out. Even I thought it was a little off kilter. You know, with things like that, you got to be real careful, man, when it comes to certain memes. Because, like I said, the left are like sharks surrounding a fishing boat. If some of them crabs happen to spill over back into the ocean, the sharks are going to grab whatever stuff spills over. Or chopped up meat, or chum they call it. The sharks will swirl around that until they get a bite. And that's what Democrats are and leftists are. They're vultures flying around a carcass. And they're waiting for Trump to make one mistake, and then they pounce. They're like, it's like that episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation, with the Ferengi, the first appearance of the Ferengi, where that entity asks Riker a question and he's swinging around a fucking battle axe, swings and misses Riker's head. What's the answer? And he says, my faith, or fear, or something like that. You see the Ferengi like little gorillas moving around like this. Well, that's kind of like what the left is. They're waiting for that mistake. Just so they have something to bitch, moan, whine, and complain about, because they suck. They're losers. They want handouts. They want freebies. They're fucking weird and oddly shaped themselves anyway. They look like they look like that dude from RoboCop that got all that fucking toxic waste. Help me. Except they got septum rings and tattoos. And skin flaps. You have to look at it for its full context. Oh, they didn't talk about Joe Biden eating a banana in that meme, did they? Of course not. They didn't focus on AOC being a fucking jackass. A literal jackass. A donkey. Or a camel, or whatever it was that she was being represented as in that meme. Nobody focused on that, did they? Idiots. It's called context. Remember the whole Nicholas Sandmann thing with the wannabe American Indian banging a drum in front of his face, and Nicholas Sandmann was standing there like this? But meanwhile, who were the ones who were truly hurling racial slurs? It were the black Israelites off camera. And what happened after that? Nicholas Sandmann sued for defamation. Idiots. Context, fuckheads. Context matters. But nobody paid attention to that part of it, did they? Of course not. Of course not. You have to hyperfixate on that thing. One of my personal thoughts about it, if you understand what the meme is all about, that Trump is the king of the jungle, he is the king of the jungle. And they put it into a cartoon form. But the left don't know how to meme, and they take everything so fucking seriously, they don't know how to make fun of themselves. Yet again, let me refer you to my gigantic forehead. Okay? And my mouse teeth, and my pointy chin, and my pointy nose, and every other flaw that makes me what I am. At least I accept my flaws. These people can't, they don't, and they won't. Look in a fucking mirror. Context matters, folks. It wasn't Obama and his wife. They were not the only two in that meme, folks. Oops. All right, I'm almost 2 hours. Actually, I am 2 hours into this live stream, man. I talked about just about everything, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to save some of this energy for the Super Bowl. Again, if the Black National Anthem comes on, turn off your TVs. Don't put it in mute. Don't put your TV in mute. Turn off the TV so that this way the ratings will reflect what's going on. All right, wait for about 10 minutes, then turn your TV back on. You can skip the highlights. Trust me, folks. You need to send a message to the NFL that we have one national anthem. We are one people, united, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay? We are one people, one America. And that's the way it is. We're not the fucking Borg. We are not going to assimilate into leftist ideology. You can resist. Passive resistance, folks. So, with that being said, there's not much more to say, folks. Otherwise, I'm going to end up repeating myself like a broken record. I really do appreciate many of you for supporting the channel in this live stream. We've talked about all sorts of crazy stuff here. You know, the political stuff, you know, it does wear on me quite a bit. Again, like I said, at the end of the day, well, nothing starts with that and ends with that. I've got whys to things like that as well. So that, nice try with that one. At the end of the day, you know, the left can't meme. They don't know how to meme. You know, they take everything way too seriously. You're allowed to laugh. You're allowed to have a good time because they're fucking miserable and ugly and misshapen. Again, let me refer you to the character in RoboCop that got that toxic waste all over him. That's what they're like, dragging their foot behind him. Help me. With bull rings and tattoos and skin flaps and their weird fucking fetishes and their leather dog suits where they hang each other upside down with chains and straitjackets, beating each other with fucking tennis rackets covered in fucking ranch dressing with a dildo gag in their mouth, screaming please more, probably, because that's what they do, in a kiddie pool filled with Italian dressing and vinegar. Sick freaks. But they can do that because this is America. This is America. You can do that. So, you know what? I'm going to answer that comment I just blocked. Yeah, I'm wearing a grifter's hat that costs about $50 to $60, which you probably can't afford. So, is that what I fantasize about? Actually, I'll tell you what I fantasize about. I fantasize about filling this more with green paper and making more green paper that I can put into this. That's my fantasy. Oh man, it's a sick fantasy. It's a fetish. Making money. Oh, gets me off. Gets me off a lot. That's something a lot of you weirdo Magic the Gathering, you know, people don't play. You know, the ones that dress in leather Pokemon costumes. See, while you fantasize about spanking each other with you know, PVC scepters with spikes on the end, I fantasize about making money. And I do. I make my fantasies come true. This ain't no Disney World, motherfucker. This ain't no Disney World. This man be making that money. This man makes that money. Money, 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 money. I wonder how. Oh, you know what? Should I be that guy? Can I be that guy? Am I allowed to pull out some of my baseball cards that can pay like 6 months of my rent just like that? If I pull out 6 of my baseball cards, it's enough to pay for it's enough for a $15,000 car right now if I chose to pull the trigger. What about you fuckers? Oh yeah, you got your video games and your Call of Duty as far as shitbagging each other. You know what I mean? Ass to mouth like the human centipede. That's right, baseball cards. You best believe it. Now that you did that, I'm going to rub it in your face, homo. Check this out. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. A weembo it, 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 a weembo it. Oh, we got to do the Trump dance. Din, 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 din. So, yeah, baseball cards. $1,000 Barry Bonds auto. Now almost $2,000 Don Mattingly rookie PSA 10. So Paul Skeens, Red Mojo Fractor out of 5. Prospect, approximately $1,500 now. Aaron Judge, SGC 10, latest sale, approximately $1,600. Of course, we got the big boys here, Shohei Ohtani rookie, which is now pushing almost $4,000. Ken Griffey Jr. going for about $5,300 in some cases. So tell me again. Tell me again. What was that? What? Who? What? What? Who? Oh, how much was this jersey? Oh, $400 and something dollars. Oh, okay. Just want to make sure. $400 and something dollars for this jersey. Oh, okay. Since leftists, like to bring those kind of things up. It's like since now we have an asshole in the audience. Now I'm gonna flex. Like having a collection of Jordans that are 200 and change each. Oh, by the way, a white guy invented these and a white guy designed these. It was a pair of white guys, by the way, in case anybody wants to try. Stop claiming my culture. Michael Jordan people culture. Gee willikers. Since we need the flex now, let's get rid of that. Oh. What's all this? Oh. Is that all I fantasize about? Oh. What's all that? 200 and change times how much? How many? Oh, what about these? Oh. What's all these? What's these? These. What are these? How much? How much? Oh, what about them? What's all that? Oh. How much are those a piece? Oh, okay. Oh, there's some behind the door too, by the way. Even though my bedroom's a little bit of a mess. Oh, how about all those? Oh. Sucks to be you. See, that's what the left doesn't like. They try to get over you, ethically and morally. But once you start showing off things that they can't have or can't afford, that's when you really get under their skin. Because at the end of the day, they pretty much have nothing. They got nothing. They're worth nothing. That's why they're out in the streets throwing their temper tantrum. You ever see what they look like? Anyway, they look like they wear old dirty shower curtains. Look at all these leftists. They all look the same. They all wear fucking black. They're gross, dirty, slimy, and disgusting. And then they try to speak for black people when 3/4 of them out there protesting aren't even black. They're all white. Spoiled little fucking white kids. But anyway, let's forget the little snot-nosed brats that need a little bit of daddy spanking. Well, they like that shit again anyway. And let's see. So now that I've pretty much emotionally bankrupted this fucker here, because they'll never have the things I have because, well, I earned it and worked for it. Something they don't know. So, God, I love having my stuff. I love having all those things, especially, the leftists, well, they're too busy out there protesting while I'm making money and I can afford to buy nice things because I don't waste my time standing out in the street in 20-degree weather, screaming, whining, crying, throwing things at the cops. It's like that one long-haired freak show with his black fingernails. Did you see him on the news that got his eyeball shot out with a less lethal pepper ball launcher? Why the fuck would you throw a construction cone at the police and you expect them not to retaliate? What are you, fucking dumb? They're dumb. They're retarded, folks. They really are. They're really dumb. You don't want to get hit in the face with a pepper ball Don't fuck with the cops. Simple logic, isn't it? You want to be out there and protest, exercise your First Amendment right all you want. But once you start throwing things at the cops, you deserve to have your eyes shot out with a less lethal pepper ball launcher. Good for them. I don't feel sorry for that freak show with his line. And you talk like that, everything. He's got this weird mop, gross looking hair, like Ronald McDonald, except that he went to a salon to have it straightened out and it's still frizzy. You know, his hair looks like a brunette Gene Simmons. Oof, it's gross. Oh, it's fucking gross. It's gross, folks. It's really disgusting. Oh, some of these freak shows. Buy some clothes, folks. It looks good for you. Take the fucking septum rings out of your nose. Comb your hair. Wash in the bathtub. I'll give you a bottle of shampoo. Maybe my audience, maybe we'll do, hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a GoFundMe for these leftists. Well, we're going to buy them, like the travel shampoos. Maybe we should buy them shampoo. Or even better, let's get them Axe body spray since they don't believe in soap. Just so they smell good, to make the rest of us feel better. Since we're so emotional. Great insults. I get plenty of upvotes on Reddit. To be honest with you, I know I'm kind of being petty right now, but when you see certain idiots saying certain things and they're talking out of two sides of their mouth, you got to let them have it. While they're out there wasting your time and mine throwing this nationwide temper tantrum, I'm here making money. And that's what matters the most to me. I've got a roof over my head. My customers over at my eBay store have helped me, to get supplements that I use to control my blood sugar because I earned it. I worked for it. I grind on eBay. I'm here on YouTube promoting my eBay store and all that kind of stuff. And I always thank you folks. You know that. Credit where credit is due to my eBay customers. I even did these auctions recently because we had that bad snow. And money over principles is a hell of a take. Well, you didn't let me finish. You see, a lot of my audience, like me, were hit by 10 to 12 to 14 inches of snow. A lot of people wanted sports cards off of me, and some of those sports cards are $20 plus or more. So what I did is I took those listings down, relisted them as auctions, starting at 99 cents. So I'm taking a hit so that my customers who were affected by that kind of stuff have a chance to potentially get those cards for a lot cheaper. So it's not like I'm out there making them buy things. They're doing it because they want to, because they want these things. But they don't want to choose between buying a tank of gas and buying a photograph of a man. So I decided that, you know what? The right thing to do is because I read the room and I know my audience. I know how they are. We had it here. My YouTube channel is an example of it. I have photos of the snow outside over at my community page. All right. Some people didn't want to choose between $20 worth of food and a photo of a man to collect to put in a piece of plastic in their closet somewhere. So I took a lot of those listings down, relisted them as auctions from 99 cents on. And if I make $5 out of them instead of $20, I'm willing to take the hit because I know my audience and I know my customer base. They didn't have to break the bank to choose between a $20 card and a $20 tank of gas. They got something they wanted for a lot cheaper. And I can't wait to see the results of that once this live stream ends. And I thank my audience for that because my eBay store is the best example and the best proof I have of that. The evidence speaks for itself. Here's the ball. You play. Facts are facts. You know why? You know what? Thank you. Creating your own economy, buying from each other instead of big core or big corporations. I respect it. Yeah, I'm my own boss. I set my own rules. I set my own hours. I come and go as I please, and I'm beholden to nobody. All right? I don't have to answer to anybody. I'm more independent than I've ever been before. I'm in charge of myself. Of course, there's going to be competition out there, with sports card sellers and eBay sellers and stuff like that. But for right now, I mean, this June is going to be 2 years since I started this little venture of mine, and right now with these 6 cards, with these 6 cards alone, if I were to sell these, I can get myself a brand new car if I chose to. And I worked very hard to get those cards. And these are the 6 slabs I chose. And there's potential of me selling one of these right now if I chose to, because there are a lot of things I still want to do. But I have to look at it from a family point of view, a personal expense point of view. You know, I want to go see my dad's gravesite in New York. I want to see my niece and my nephew and my family. I want to see how my family up there is doing. I can sell this right now if I want to. And I know somebody's going to buy it. I could sell this right now if I want to. I know somebody's going to buy it. That's the beauty of it. I am in charge of my destiny. I am in charge of what I do for myself. Obviously, you have to operate within the rules and the laws and all that kind of stuff. There have to be boundaries, folks. There have to be boundaries. There have to be certain precedents that have to be set. But these lunatics out there, no boundaries, no precedents, just selfish whining, crying. Well, I can't do this. Oh, it's the corporations. Haven't you applied for a fucking job? Who do you think creates these jobs? Corporations, idiot. Like me. I'm a small business owner. I can hire people right now. I have the ability to hire people. I don't need to because I'm not that big. I'm a small business owner. I work right out of my home. I can pay people cash up to, I think, North Carolina law. I have to think about this now. Here in North Carolina, I'm allowed to pay out cash without benefits up to, I believe, 3 employees. I don't know if that's with myself or not including myself. But I could pay somebody right now to go do my laundry. I'll write them. I'll write a receipt out or something like that. Hand them a $20 bill. Say it's expenses, for example, or something like that. Even food, lunch, I can write off as an expense for my business. But if I pay somebody to do my laundry, I mean, I don't have a work uniform. That's why I'm not going to do that. I would do that just because, well, you know, this person can use the money and I need a hand doing stuff. Well, it's mutually beneficial. You know what I mean? Not that I would ever pay somebody $20. I mean, listen, I would be a little bit more generous than that. But you know what I mean, folks. I mean, there's nothing I can't do at this point. It's all up to me. These idiots and these mongoloids that are out there, these scabs, these pieces of 2-legged snot that are out there, if they only took the initiative to do like what I did and take a risk and put everything into this, and it does come at risk. Let me tell you, it's not easy. You think selling baseball cards and stuff like that on eBay is easy. It's really not. I don't know if you can see it back there. There's a rectangular little box that's hanging on my wall. There are tax forms in there already that are starting to come for North Carolina and for the federal government and North Carolina state. And the state, the county, and the federal government are starting to come. And I have to get that shit paid off by April like everybody else. The only thing is now there's more tax burden on me because I'm a business owner. So, of course, you have to pay for the roads. You got to pay for the street lights. You got to pay for Duke Energy to have them fix the street lights. You got to have the fucking laborers, the plumbers. You know what I mean? You got to pay for the police. You got to pay for the ambulances. That's where taxes go. As much as I fucking hate it, that's the way the system works. But at the end of the day, when my eBay customers buy my cards off of me, I put that towards my bills. I put that towards the supplements. I put that towards my food. They get a picture of a man that they want, and they're happy with that. Or if I'm selling off a jersey or sneakers, it's mutually beneficial. And this was a time, and now this person suddenly has nothing to say because my eBay store is proof of that. And this YouTube channel is proof of that, where I've said it. I was going to go back. So long as there's snow on the ground, my newest and latest listings, I would list that initial batch of cards, the newest batch of cards for the month of February as auctions, because I know a lot of people message me on eBay saying, hey, listen, can't afford these cards. I buy cards, and I have the same customers coming back. But right now they can't afford the money. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to take those listings down, certain listings like autographs, which I did. And that batch of cards, list them all as auctions. And people jumped on them immediately. And some of them ended tonight. Some of them will end during the week. And I still have a few more to list. Your turn. So tell me again about ethics and morals when it comes to what, who, where? context and proof. That's one thing these fucking people lack. And that's their fucking Achilles heel, folks. Their emotions. Their penchant to react when they don't want fucking facts in their face. And when it pisses them off, you got to watch out for a thing like that. Because they will try again. And another person got caught trying to do that to Trump recently. And it wasn't even put on the news. Just like that other asshole at the Trump golf course. I think it was, in Florida? The dude that was hiding behind the gate that had the fucking goon's nest, the goon tower, where he was trying to target Trump. That's what happens when you get so emotionally. That's what happens when you have people who, want to react. They want to push your buttons. They want to try to dig in there. They want to see you. They want to see you go off the rails. They want to watch you fail. They project their bullshit onto you. And at the end of the day, when you're sitting here and you can flex like this, man, I could buy a new car right now if I sold these. Just this in my hand right now, I can buy a new car. They can't do that because of their bad choices. Everybody in life is going to run into tragedy at some point or another. Everyone's going to run into bad things, like with my dad dying. My buddy Wolf, whose crucifix I'm wearing, a Native American friend of mine, we had a lot in common when he was alive. Not everything goes to plan. Sometimes it's called fucking risk, idiots. Yeah, there are things in my life that happened that I didn't want to have happen, but did. I'm still here, aren't I? Still going. Still as defiant as always. Not self-righteous, but defiant. Because now I see it from the other side of the coin. And I look at these low-grade losers out there where they were raised by the internet, where we were raised by our fucking parents. Real parents that gave a shit, that maybe gave us one of these once in a while, and rightfully so. The internet didn't raise guys like me. Our parents did. I don't know why an army of parents doesn't go out there. There was a famous video, a famous clip. I think it was during the George Floyd riots where this black woman caught her son out in the street protesting and rioting. It wasn't protesting. Let's just call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. It was rioting. Caught her son outside in the fucking street, grabbed him and beat the piss out of him in front of everybody, including the media. And she was hailed as a hero. Why are these parents not out there grabbing their kids and beating the piss out of them? It's time to bring back corporal punishment. Not saying for the little kids. I'm saying for those that are 16 years old and 16 and older, if they're out in that fucking street, these parents and grandparents should be out there with belts, sticks, and whips, beating the shit out of these leftist little spoiled brats, making them paint the fence, clean the gutters, take out the trash, and make them mow the fucking lawn. How about that one? I, on the other hand, can I finally end this live stream now? God, I wanted to end this a half hour ago. I'm 25 minutes into it, longer than I wanted to be. But thank you, everybody who has been supporting me, the channel, each other. It's all about sports ball tonight, with the exception of the halftime show. You don't have to be forced to sit there and listen to a language you don't understand. Again, mi corazón es para mis amigos, mi familia, mis latinas, mis latinos, mis hermanos. But this is bullshit, man. You could do that during the FIFA World Cup when it comes around. You do that during the Champions League for soccer. You do that during, during hockey. You can sing the Canadian national. Yeah, Bayern won. I saw that. I just saw that. What's going on? What's going on, Saber? I saw that. I watched the game today with Hoffenheim. Man, what's his name? Luis, man. Dude, Bayern just... They are... And I'm still waiting for my Bayern jerseys. They were supposed to come today. My two Harry Kane jerseys and my Florian Wirtz jersey still hasn't come yet. They were supposed to be delivered today. Man, UPS, USPS, FedEx, they're all a disaster. But my jerseys have been delayed now for a week. But they were supposed to come today, and they still haven't showed up yet. You know, they're stuck here in Charlotte somewhere. And now the itinerary is saying that they're supposed to arrive tomorrow, if not Tuesday, something like that. I forget. But yeah, man, Harry Kane, dude. Pavlovich, all these guys, man, they're just, jeez. You know, now we got Musiala back, which is great. That's amazing to see. Leonard Carl got up on the field. He took a couple shots at goal today. That was great to see. Oh, Alf gets FC Bayern, my friends. Alf gets FC Bayern. So, oh shit, I didn't even bother to see. Oh, I got plenty of battery power on my phone. Okay. All right, I'm out of breath, man. I've been going at this for 2.5 hours, folks. I don't know how most people can stay on live streams for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours at a time. I'm done. So anyway, folks, if you're new to the channel, again, forgive me if I haven't done any full-form videos of reviews. I do got stuff I want to do a full-fledged review of. The last review of any kind I did was that Soundwave live stream, the Transformers Studio Series Soundwave. But I haven't done a long-form video. It's been 2 weeks. Obviously, I've been focusing more on the live streams, the YouTube shorts, all that kind of stuff. And, it is what it is. But, again, like I said, I don't care, man. Here's a comment in the chat, Obama. That's fine. That doesn't bother me. Listen, if you're into jerseys, you're into sports, you're into sneakers, you're into toy collecting, you're into Pokemon, you're into baseball cards, any of that kind of stuff. You're into fucking coin collecting, you're into stamps. You don't have to be politically aligned to agree with me with anything. You can disagree with me all you want, but there's always something we can always find common ground in. There always is. At the end of the day, we all have to shit, fart, burp, wake up, eat, wash our faces. Unless you're a leftist, you don't brush your teeth at all. You take a look at some of them. Got to take care of your health. Got to make love to keep the species going. Know what I mean? It's funny. I have to laugh. I'm sorry. Here we go again with the chat. I always want, it's funny because I'm one of them goofy guys with a wild imagination. I can imagine what fucking Trump smells like after he eats a Big Mac. Imagine on Air Force One if you're Trump with a big fucking Pepsi in that cup. At his age, eating McDonald's. And McDonald's apparently is his favorite fast food. Just the sheer thought of it alone. That's one big red, white, and blue fucking ass gas assault on a fucking cockpit and crew, man. I wouldn't want to be around that. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I come from German roots. We're used to eating a lot of fucking sausage and bratwurst anyway, so. See, you can laugh. You can make fun of that shit. Who knows? Maybe his farts smell fucking like potpourri compared to mine. Mine could fucking turn glass into plastic any day. You know what I mean? So my farts can turn a blue sky black any day of the week. Period. So, all right, I'm going to end this live stream here, folks. I'm done. I'm done with all this. Again, have fun. Stay away from the amateurs. You're going to have a lot of idiots drinking tonight. You're going to have the fucking lunks out there. The football lunks are going to be doing their thing. Avoid them at all costs. And just have a good time, man. Whatever you plan on doing, you do for you. It is what it is, man. But again, no matter what side of the coin, man, if you're on the left, if you're on the right, if you're in the center, if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, I really honestly don't give a fuck, man. There is common ground to be found in everything in life. It just depends on, if you're going to fucking rub that thing in people's face or not. At the end of the day, I don't give a shit what people do, man. I really don't. I really don't care. Just have fucking fun, have a good time, enjoy your life, but don't keep rubbing things in people's face. That's what gets people pissed off. And it's mostly one side. Well, lately, I hate to say it, there's a few things coming from the right that I'm really not too keen on, that I don't even like. And again, with this meme that went out recently, I've got my thoughts about it. It's not cool, man. Even though the left are hyper fantasizing on the whole Obama aspect of it, watch the whole thing for context. But they don't do that because Feelings. React. Ah! Red alert. Dive. It's like ridiculous, man. Look at the whole thing for context. Nobody's talking about Biden eating a banana in that video. Nobody's talking about Hakeem Jeffries singing the song in that video. What about AOC as a llama or donkey or whatever that is she was representing in that meme? Well, they don't want to talk about that. Context matters, folks. Get your fucking facts straight. All right, I'm finished. Enjoy your sports ball. Again, thank you for supporting the channel, supporting the live streams, my eBay store, all that good stuff. I'm out of breath. I'm going nonstop for 2.5 hours. I'm done. I am your host, the Carolina Collector. None of this shit matters to begin with, to be honest with you. I happen to like country music. Not really a fan of Kid Rock, but the other people seem to be pretty cool. Let's see what happens. But I simply cannot support what the NFL are doing. Sorry, but that's just me. You do you. I do me. Period. Simple. Auf Wiedersehen.